All right, so we cut out the YouTube stream. We're gonna put it back on YouTube. We're just on Facebook, um, and we'll see if it works this time. So if you didn't catch the first part, because Dave was talking about the journey of getting to where he's at now, Reader's Digest version. Do you want to go back into that for a minute?
I'll save you guys a lot of broken ankles. I wasn't, there's a lot of rumors going around that I was drunk, that I put my foot in between two boats, and I did this and I did that. I stood on a tie bar for a little while. I was taking some pictures and doing some other things. Apparently, when you stand on the tie bar between two motors, and I was putting a lot of weight on my right foot, it stretches the tendons out in your feet. When I went a minute later to walk between two boats, those tendons and ligaments were stretched out, and whammo, my foot's backwards. It wasn't some big thing or anything like that. I literally looked, and it wasn't. I could have taken a step on concrete; it would have been the same thing. They were so stretched out that when I put my foot down, I heard a pop. I looked down, and my foot's facing backwards. So it's a very unfortunate thing. But I would say for people to have a hallet or not even just a hallet, any boat with a swim ladder or something where it's putting a lot of weight in the center of your foot, don't stand on those things for prolonged periods of time because it will happen to you.
I guess it's kind of the same concept as, being in a squat position. You squat for so long, you get up, everything's stretched out, and then you try to walk anywhere, and you're wobbly, and so it's kind of in your case, something you probably never would have thought of.
The doc says literally the tendons. I mean, when you put your foot down, about 4 million things happen in that 1 second. But if things are stretched out, it's literally an eighth of an inch, and that's all it takes, and your whole body weight goes onto it, and it just. So, for those that have not been following the saga, I broke basically everything that you can break down there. It's one of the worst breaks that most of the doctors have ever seen. And for the last 4.5 weeks, life has sucked. But I'm not dead, and I am here. So, things are good.
Can't kill you.
No, not with that, no. So, it's been a journey, like when I broke my foot, we were in Missouri at Lake of the Ozarks. For those that have never been to Lake of the Ozarks, we all watch it on the live stream, and you assume it's a huge town and all this stuff. It's really not. It's really like Havasu. It's in the middle of nowhere. They have one hospital. It's really not. Like when I went to that hospital, they said, we can fix you, but we got to get you somewhere to a real place where they can do this. Driving from Lotto to St. Louis, where I flew into, was 2.5 hours or so. We elected to come home to look for a doctor, and we came to Havasu, and unfortunately I picked somebody that wasn't so good. And then luckily that, with RDP, the reach of RDP, there was a doctor on there that recommended me to a real ortho, a guy that teaches about this stuff, who is Dr. Devin Glazier. There's your shout out. But we ended up going down to South Orange County. But the problem is, by the time I got to him, we actually went down there for a consult. So I was wearing, we brought a bag with one extra pair of shorts and 2 t-shirts, right? And so we showed up at his office, and he's looking at this. He's like, how long ago did this happen? I'm like, I don't know, 10 days. He's like, you're going to surgery tonight, man. You're not leaving. And I was like, okay, well, that's all right. I think I'll be out of surgery, and then we'll go home tomorrow. And no, that didn't happen. It was explained to me by him and a couple other doctors that it was a fairly traumatic break, hence the big blisters that nobody had ever seen before and all this other stuff. On 10 days. And we went into surgery. I got stuck in California for, I don't know, 8 days, sleeping on my buddy's couch, Bildo. Thank you, Bildo. And Kristen, I swear to God, I see angels every time I see you in a picture now. I see the wings. She is the best. She's actually a nurse at Saddleback, an RN, at the hospital I was admitted to. So they weren't going to let me leave until I basically said I was staying with an RN from the hospital. We stayed at Bildo's for 8 days or whatever, and then we got our second surgery, which was another deal, and it's been a long road. The pain thing sucks, and I don't want to focus the whole show on the ankle thing, but I will tell you this: I've never begged like literally begged for my life, and I did it twice in those 8 days. I was like, cut it off. I don't care. And on the second one, I was like, kill me. I don't care. Like it hurt that bad, and I didn't even know you could hurt that bad. It was pretty unreal. But we're past that now. Now it's just kind of a medium sucky thing every day, and I tell Stacy, every time and every now and again I get to ride the lightning when like a nerve reconnects. I'm all, oh God, and I'm like, well, that nerve's gonna work again. I'm gonna feel that part of my foot again. That's cool. So we're trying to look at the positives of that, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, one of the things I kind of, when I came over a few days ago and discussed with you is like, where does this leave you getting on a boat? Where does it leave you like going on the lake? You guys live in Havasu so that you can take the kids on the lake. You guys can go do that, spend time as a family. Where does that kind of leave you?
I feel worse for my kids than I do for me because I intentionally told Stacy, don't. My kids are in so many programs, man. They're in the Girl Scouts and the swimming and the this and that. I mean, Stacy's like Mrs. Mom, right? So they're like 400 programs, and we're driving them all over the place, right? And I told her this summer, I said, don't do it, man. We're going to go boating. We're going to teach them how to ski. We're going to teach them how to wakeboard. And they already started skiing last year, but I really wanted to get more into that, and it sucks, man. Ever since I broke my foot, they've literally been stuck in front of a TV for like 3 weeks with grandma while I'm getting all the stuff handled between doctor's appointments and being stuck in California. And so that kind of sucks, you know what I mean? And like even my son, he's got three pretty badass RC cars and not, like I got him fixed and the first thing that he did was go watch TV, whereas normally he'll be out here like dying to run his RC cars. So I feel like, that part kind of upsets me a little bit that we took a step backwards with that, especially with you. You left your son in Havasu for a week to go do all the shit that I'm not going to do with all the kids. But just recently, actually, a couple days ago, I bought a Taiga, a 21-foot Taiga ski boat. And part of the reason I bought it is I went over there and I was looking at the swim step. The swim step's low enough that I could kind of roll my ass over there and get my butt on the swim step. If I get on the swim step, I'm pretty sure I can crawl into the boat and I can take my kids at least tubing or something on smooth weekdays. On the weekends, I don't want my foot bouncing around in the boat. But,
Yeah.
I could take them doing some stuff, at least for the rest of their summer vacation. A pontoon boat would have been a better option, and I did try to buy one off of my Facebook page, but apparently I was 30 minutes too late on that or something. But and I even tried to bribe the guy to get it.
I saw that.
But I got a Taiga now, so we got that. No, I'm not selling any of my other boats. This wasn't a buy it and turn it and burn it thing. We really do want to use it. I'm going to call the marina literally tomorrow and be like, do you have a handicap kind of wheelchair access to a slip in there somewhere? Or just get me close enough with the crutches so I can get in it. And if they do, man, then I'm going to throw it in the slip and we're going to go run the shit out of it until my kids are basically out of summer. In which case I'll turn and burn it and I'll get something different. Stacy's car. I want something a little different. So, it's a badass boat, though. It's a 10 out of 10 for those watching. It's a really clean boat. That's why I bought it. I won't buy junk.
Yeah.
So.
Well, one of the other questions is, so obviously River Days Place is a source of income. How has this affected your income and, supporting your family? You live around boats. You live at boating events, stuff like that. So.
I will tell you this. To answer that properly, I got to take a step back. I got to be the luckiest guy in the world, man. I've never won the lotto for anything big. Right before we left for Lake of the Ozarks, I had a good friend, Colleen Bucky. She came to me. She wasn't happy with her job, and she says, Dave, I want to come work with RDP. And I was like, well, she goes, I want to be a sales rep for you. And I said, okay, we'll do that. And right before that, I met Frank, who's a guy that runs a limousine out here in Havasu for cheap, basically. And so I got Frank, right? And Frank's driving me around, and I was planning on him driving me around when I was like a party bus, like when I was drinking or whatnot. And all these things kind of fell into place. So if you were going to break your ankle and come out the other side of this and have a driver, have a person out selling for you, have all these things on so many different areas, to tell you the truth, I've made more money off RDP since my broken ankle that I have made in the entire time of owning RDP. That being said, our content has suffered a little bit because we're not out on the lake. We're not out shaking hands against the babies. We're not, taking pictures ourselves, which also motivates other members to take pictures. But financially, I told Stacy right after it happened, I said, thank God, man, I'm not an electrician or a plumber or a roofer, where if you can't go climb up a ladder that day, you're not making any money, so we're very, very fortunate in that respect. And Colleen's been killing it. Team RDP, Stacy, my wife, with Brandy, they did, $4.6 million this month in real estate. A lot of real estate agents out here couldn't save $4.6 million in a year. So she's the lifeblood of our family income right now, obviously. And it's that we've been very, very fortunate with. I would say that I got a 4-leaf clover shoved up something right now. I mean, I got very lucky. If I was a machinist like I was a few years ago and this happened, I would have literally had one of my friends fabricate a stool in front of my machines to do this, and I still would have had to hire somebody to help me load and unload and stuff. And we're very fortunate that this thing didn't take us out of the game. Do you want to hear the irony of this, Jake?
I do.
So I got 2 or 3 girls working in my storefront, and I was telling them, I was like, you always be closing, right? Like I'm trying to get them to hustle harder on clothing sales and stuff. I'm in my storefront. 2 Aflac girls come in to sell me insurance. I'm selling them a bunch of hats, and they walk out. And I'm telling my girls that work there, see, I closed the app. They came in to sell me something, and I closed the Aflac girls. Like, you need to be that, right? Right now, I'm wishing I would have bought the Aflac. Right?
Yeah.
I'd have 10 grand. For this, I'd have 10 grand sitting in the bank on top of all that. But, yeah. Sometimes when things come knocking, maybe you should pay heavier attention to them, because had I known what was going to happen, I would have bought the Aflac all day long.
Well, it's like you took Colleen in, you did, you took someone else in, you put yourself in a better position, or got the limo driver, the Aflac girls come in, and you just give them the bird and be like, sell them some hats.
Yeah. I would have taken the Aflac over all of it, to be like, Colleen, honestly, she's a godsend. She's really been doing good.
Yeah, Colleen, she's actually watching. She's actually commenting right now. So
is she?
Yeah.
I think she's closed 2 accounts already, and she's got 47 that she's talking to right now, and she's doing really well. I mean, for just coming out of the gate, she didn't have any tools, but she didn't have business cards, she didn't have anything. She's doing really well. I got her an iPad today. She's got business cards now. Her shirt's going to be here early next week. Vinny, if you're watching, please, we need those quick. And but yeah, she's killing it, man. She's really doing good. She's a hustler, and she's doing good. I know a lot of people in Havasu, when I was trying to I sent her out, they're like, no, we'll talk to Dave. And I'm trying to say, there's no Dave right now, so.
Well, so Ryan Gum just asked, when are we going to see a change to the website? No one will answer the questions. Hey, Ryan, I'm not too sure about what that means. So we're going to...
Ryan, in the comment section here, what changes are you talking about in the bugs and fixes thread on the top, or what changes would you like to see? I'm always interested in hearing that. And if you're not getting the answers you want, my cell phone number is 949-678-8369. You can call me anytime, and I'm always interested in hearing that. As for something new, one thing that is happening is I've been working on it for 6 months with my coders overseas. My coders are in the United Kingdom, by the way, not Russia or India anymore. I like the guys that speak English, so there's no misunderstanding. But we literally just finished the classifieds for RDP. So RDP is getting a full, true classifieds. It will be similar to some of the other ones that you've seen that basically copied my first generation ones from years ago. And but we added a lot of stuff to it. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's going to be dealer pages now. I don't want to get too much into it because I want to beta test it before I say it has all this stuff. But one of the big things that I was going to have is a make an offer button, so that if 2 parties, one guy wanted to make an offer but didn't want to be known, he could make that offer. But if the offer is accepted, he's held to it. And I thought that would be a pretty cool idea. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in there that's coming that nobody else has. So,
So
but
he responded. He said, "I want to buy stuff, but sellers will not answering." So Ryan. He's talking a little bit about building a classifieds section. I think will help a little bit with that. I think if you want to buy something, especially off RDP, maybe call the number that's on the ad. If there's not a number, maybe send them a personal message.
that's one thing do need to change. I need to make everybody that's posting a classified on there at least put some kind of phone number. Do you know I get 36 phone calls a day from people saying, "Hey, I'm calling you about that '87 Chevy short bed. Hey, I'm calling you about this 2006 Baja." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not selling a Baja. I don't know. It's on my website. I'm sure you got to get a hold of that guy. Like I don't know what you're talking about." And I'm polite about it every time, but it does burn up like 2 hours of my day minimum
Yeah.
between those phone calls and the tech phone calls. And I guarantee you, like JBP, Jetboat Performance, and Alexi probably got half the phone call traffic when I got injured, because half my day is, I don't know, man, call Alexi, here's his number. I don't know, man, call Jetboat Performance, here's his number. I don't know, man, call Pete Custom Marine, here's the number. Depending on what it is and whatever it was, I just send them to whoever I think would be the best. And I spent half my day doing that. Now that I've been injured, my patience is a little shorter, so I'm not answering every single phone call, which is something else I want to get into, is how this injury affects us going into the future.
Yeah.
I have some big announcements for that. I was talking to Tony Chiramani earlier. I was talking to Jake Fraley earlier. I was talking to a lot of guys, and there's a lot of politics in this industry. There really is. You can't get away from it. No matter what, these guys like these guys. They hate that guy. You're associated with that guy. Now you get tied up with this shit. You can't. I'm done with all of it, man. I don't care. I got Colleen. She's going to sell advertising. She makes a promise that says we're going to do this for that advertiser. That is her responsibility. And if she doesn't follow through on that, she doesn't get paid. Right? The old River Dave's 2 weeks thing, I'm out, man. I'm going back to doing what I love. I'm going back to riding in boats, filming boats, posting on the website. All the business shit, all the advertising, all the promises, articles, all that shit is all under Colleen's flag. So, like I've had some very strong relationships that got off very cheap, and I've had some very weak relationships that got off paying all the money. Everybody's the same now. There's no more River Dave influence on any of this shit. No friends, no nothing. It's a business. And that's why I hired Colleen. Colleen is the buffer between me and the bullshit, Me and DCB had a rough patch there for a while. They deal with Colleen. Me and Eliminator are bestie friends, and we drink every weekend. They deal with Colleen. It's all the same. I'm not going to be, it's a very personal website, and I will say the only thing that I will hold true on is I will never let somebody advertise that I know is like a shyster or I don't believe in their products. But the vast majority of the stuff that I'm talking about is politics, and we've all chosen our sides over the year, and I'm taking a major step back from that. I'm posting on the forums, and if it's good times and boating content, that's all I care about. Anything else, I don't even want it on there, man.
Well,
we're making RDP great again.
Well, and that's kind of, my next thought was, hopefully, you coming out the other side of this thing, which you're already, getting to come out the other side, is that, you'll be able to focus more on your family and focus more on what you consider fun. Like you said, riding in boats, getting cool content, spending time with your family. Because I definitely think that, me, knowing you for, the last year, maybe a little more, me seeing that, that's something you need. You need to be able to go experience those things again to enjoy, actually doing RDP. So
RDP started for fun, man. It was never a business. And part of the biggest problem with that is when you start something for fun and then you turn it into a business, there's no business plan. Every business that I've ever started, I said, here's where we're starting, here's our goal, here's what we're doing, here, you know what I mean? Like there's always a plan. And I never had one with RDP. RDP was never made to make money. The only reason it made money was Mike Guadalavini over at Rex Marine says, I want to advertise on your site. And I was like, what do you mean advertise on my site? He goes, I'll give you 100, whatever. He goes, what do you think it costs? I said, $150 a month. He goes, done. He was our first advertiser. And I never even attempted to make money on it. There was advertisers on RDP pre 2011, and it had been online for 4 years, but it was like 5 advertisers, and I charged them like $100. I didn't even care. When I lost my machine shop and I moved out here, I still didn't think RDP was a business, and we kind of turned it into one because there's no industry out here. There's nothing for a machine. There's nothing for a guy like me out here. I can't go run a big machine shop. I can't do inspection reports or the stuff that I was doing for aerospace out here. There's none of it out here. And so that's why I made RDP a business. But when I did it in such a hurry. And when I say a hurry, Jake, I had to borrow the first month's mortgage. I mean, we were in a hurry. I was like, dude, $200? Yeah, we're in. Oh, $300? Yeah, we're in. And it really wasn't the smartest play, but I'm out here with a baby with no money. I mean, what choice did you have?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as it grew, I never really looked at it as a business. And now that I'm injured and I'm looking back at this, and I've got at my disposal Eric Briner, Tom Lee, Austin Foley. I got all these guys. I got Carter Body. I got 10 guys that can go do all this shit and cover events and do this and all. And I'm starting to look at it more like a machinist, where it's a cost analysis, right? It costs this much to send these guys to this thing. How much money do I make out of it? And is it worth it to generate, with the crowds and this, that, and the other? My advertising rates are cheaper than everybody else. I always try to keep it cheap and try to keep it fun. The cost analysis doesn't exactly pencil out, but I got enough goodwill and enough good advertisers, enough quantity of them, that I'm willing to do that. Plus, Team RDP is pretty much financing the whole program at this point, so it doesn't suck. We're in a really good position to provide a lot of great content and provide a lot for manufacturers, providing I stay out of it. And that is my new goal for 2019, is to run my forums, go out on boats, film the boats, write about the boats I like, and do what I love to do, and sub more out to the Toms, Austins, to the Colleens, to all of our staff that I've always held such a throttle on. They need to go do their thing, man. Yeah. We'll pay it. I don't care. But it's time to grow up and be a business. So.
Well, and I definitely think it sucks you breaking your ankle for you to realize that, but it's definitely going in the right direction. Who knows? Maybe you come out of this thing on the other side, and now we'll have RDP and luxury center consoles and some other West Coast offshore boating site. It gives you time to think about what the future could be, and what the future really holds for RDP, kind of the RDP group. You've got real estate going on. You've got other things that are tied into RDP.
It is, and I had no idea. We never really experienced all that before. I had a friend of mine, Jonathan Fitzgerald. He told me this back in 2002. He says, "Dave, if you get in real estate, you'll be retired in 5 years." And I said, "No way, man. And what do I know about real estate, right? I'm some dumb machinist." RDP is a real estate website at this point. We made more money in real estate in the last 2 months than RDP will bring in the next year. And I always thought of myself as a fairly successful guy. So it's somewhat humbling on that front. But there's so many industries that are so, with the network of people, that you could do so much more money and less politics and bullshit. You know what I mean? And that's kind of why I said I'm over it, man. I'm over the politics. I don't care anymore. I just want to see the cool stuff. DCB comes out with their two-tunnel cat. I want to be the first guy on it. If I'm not the first guy on it, I want to know why I'm not the first guy on it. You know what I mean? I don't need to take their money to be the first guy on the boat. I want to be the first guy on the boat because I can show it to the most people.
Yeah.
I want to be the first guy on, when Nordic's coming out with some new stuff here, I want to be the first guy on it. We put those pictures up today of their ski race rig. The only reason I wasn't on it is because my foot. Dennis, he was going anyways. Dennis, shoot me some pictures. He did it. Thank you so much, Dennis, for that. And, but I'm just saying, we want to be first to the punch, and we want to deliver the best content. We have a large network of people. The marine industry has always been good to me, but I think there's a lot of money to be made outside of the marine industry as well, and I'd rather use that as our leverage instead of trying to hustle these guys out of $200 or $300 or $400 for an ad. What the hell's $400? Dude, the prop on the boat's $15,000. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
So I'm more about the content right now than I am about hustling all the stuff. All the hustle and all that shit, that's Colleen's problem now. She is literally my right hand. If you are an advertiser of RDP, you will be talking to her in the next couple of months, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to deal with it anymore. And putting that one distance between me and the advertiser is going to do wonders, because everybody knows Dave, man. And sometimes it's not business. It's, hey man, hook me up with this, or hey Dave, or hey, and it's like, dude, fuck that. This is Colleen's problem, right?
Yeah.
And then when I don't want to go to, like, I can't go to Lake of the Ozarks, I was literally on the phone texting Tom, Lotto question mark, Eric Reiner, Lotto question mark. Somebody's going to fucking Lotto. I don't care who it is. But they're gonna go, and I'm gonna get them set up. Tom's got some deals worked out with some people, and I'm interested in magnifying that relationship with. Brianer's got some shit going on that may or may not fall apart. He's got some stuff with some other people. I'm interested in magnifying that too. But from here on out, those kind of events, if I go, I'm going to shake hands and kiss babies, and maybe I'll start a thread on RDP. But it's all paid content, man. I don't want to take. It's hard for me to take myself, like I said, with all the politics. Hard to take it out and be fair, because I've been doing it for so long, right? Me and Tony Chiramani go back so long that it's not about boats anymore, right? So when we're upset at each other, it's hard to be neutral and fair.
Yeah.
Right? And me and Thing, right? Like, I say something on the website, he gets pissed at me. Now it's about business. It's not about us drinking at the bar or something. And when I realized, like, in the hospital, soul searching and kind of thinking about all this, I was like, the problem is I've known all these guys for 15, 20 years. We're drinking beers in the bars, for 15, 20 years. This isn't business, man. This is friends. I'm concerned about Tony and Tony's family. I'm concerned about Thane and whichever chick he's going to be with next week. I'm concerned about John Lavelle. I'm concerned about everything. Bob Leach is my favorite guy in the industry. Now he's out of the industry, right? And I've been talking to him on the phone a little bit, and I saw he went to the Eliminator the other day. And I'm not shitting you. I'm not an emotional guy, but I saw that Mark Baker posted something that he was an Eliminator, and I damn near, my water came in my eyes. I was like, Bob Leach is he's the nicest, my favorite guy in the industry. And the fact that he went to Eliminator, all I could think of was, God, I hope somehow, some way he could be a part of that again.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't care how it happens. Somehow, some way, just let it happen. So, that's what I say. I get so emotional about this shit. It's very hard to be business-like, and it causes problems.
Yeah. So
we're solving those problems. Colleen is the new, what do you call it, the equalizer, I guess, or whatever. Right? she don't know anybody, and I gave her a set mat of this is what it is, and go have fun.
Well, and it's the same with me. I linked up with you because I knew that you had a lot of experience with companies and with people in the boating industry, and even, just so the listeners know, like, Dave paid me some advertising to do for the Boats and Shows podcast the first 6 months I did it. And when that ended, I considered you so much of a friend. Like, I'm not going to go back to you and ask for money, because you've brought so much value to this show, and, helping me get it going, and, talking me through some really dark times that I had, with personal issues and family issues. And, at the end of the day, you brought that to me. You helped me with that, and I'll just support RDP because RDP supported me. It's all about giving back to those.
2020, I want to be the title sponsor again. I would absolutely support you guys. I love you guys. I love the show. You got the same problem with me with consistency, but I think we're getting better.
Yeah.
I hired somebody to help me with my consistency. I want to be up your ass for your consistency.
Well, and hopefully 2020 for the Boats and Shows podcast will be, we'll include some events, besides Desert Storm, us being able to do a lot of the same stuff that you do, record and then bring it back and put it on your page, that we can do some live stuff too, kind of under the RDP name. So
I have some good ideas for all that. I really do. I want you to tell you the truth, I really want to bring some names in. I want to bring the Tony Chirimanis in. I want to bring possibly Bob Leach and Thane. I want to bring them in and put them in my office. It's a nice, unique environment. Hold on one second here. I can't see that far. Ooh. I want to bring the Bob Leaches in, Thane. Randy Davis would never do it, but if he did, I would love that. Bring in some interviews and talk about, some of these guys have some amazing stories, man. We get Dave Hemmingston in there. That would be pretty awesome. But talk about some of the past, some of the future. We can even bring some guys over from the East Coast for like Thunderbolt Row shit if people are interested in it. But on November, I think we should do election night live. There's going to be champagne, there's going to be broken TVs, one of the two, right?
Jeez.
So, but yeah, I think we ought to do boats and shows for election night, party deal. Which strangely, November. I did mention on my website. I put it up one time. I didn't follow up on it for a reason yet. It's getting ready to get bumped pretty heavy next week. But RDP Regatta, all boats regatta. This is something that me and Tony Giramani talked about a long time ago. Sorry for bumping that. I'm on a wheelchair. We talked about it a long time ago. All manufacturers welcome. Manufacturers going to have displays there. But it's an RDP all boats regatta. We're going to do it Halloween weekend, 31st to the November 2nd. And I got a lot of big plans for the kids. So we're going to do, for the younger kids, it's going to be at LBR, obviously. For the younger kids, they got an area down there. I was going to hire some, Stacy's got all these, I don't know what the hell you call them, the young teachers. What do they call the little nights guys and all that? I don't know. They teach, preschool, kindergarten, stuff like that. We're going to have an area where the kids make the trophies for the parents during the day if the parents want to go run the boats without little kids. That's part of the problem with some of these poker runs, man. If you got a 3-year-old, what do you do with them? Right? But you can't. Yeah. You can't do anything. So then I got some stuff for older kids that's involved with different kind of games. The 10 to 14-year-olds going to have paddleboard races in the channel, but something to do with the kids all day. And then, even into the evening, we're going to keep the pool open late at night so that the kids can use the pool and the water slide. We'll have lifeguards and all that. But I really want to make it important for the kids and the family. I want to make it important, for a lot of the big guys to show up. We'll bring all the docks out. We will have a boat show on the docks kind of deal. And for the sponsors, I got kind of a trick idea that I was working on that, when you sponsor a poker run or an event, doesn't matter what it is, any kind of event, you get a logo or you get something, but you don't get to measure your return on that. And so for a lot of the local stuff out here for the gas stations, right? Like, so I'm kind of friends with the IRFs, or at least some of them. Ryan Atkins out at Havasu Springs, Art up at, Pirates Cove, Chad over at Topak. So when they sponsor this event, when you go to a lot of the poker runs, you get to buy extra hands, right? Like, okay, you go to turn in your card, how many extra hands do you want? I want 6 extra hands, and they're $200 a hand or something. So one of the things I'm doing for the sponsors is to say, if you go to Pirates Cove, or let's say you go to the IRFs gas station, you fill up your boat. For me, that's $400 for this hallet, right? Minimum. Every $50 of receipt is a card. So if I filled up my hallet, I get an extra hand on my poker run immediately. If you go to Havasu Springs and you buy dinner for your friends and it's $200, there's 4 cards, right? If you go over to, let's say River, Action Sports is a sponsor, and you spend $100 over there in gear, like life jackets and some ropes or whatever, there you go. You got a full hand of poker. It didn't cost you nothing to me. It's just to the sponsors. And I've always thought that would be a cool idea to put money back into the town and put money directly back into the sponsors, from fuel stations to restaurants. So that's one thing we're working on. I had a long talk with Art at Pirates Cove today. He's working on a yacht program for me. For those that don't know, they have 2 yachts up there that they offer booze cruises on, up to 40 people. And I told him, I says, one of the problems with Desert Storm actually is a lot of guys come from out of town. They don't have a boat.
Yeah.
And they get up and close and personal with these boats, but they're stuck on the shore and they cannot watch the poker run. They can watch the shootout, but they can't watch the poker run.
Yeah.
I was talking to him today about bringing that big yacht down and selling tickets on it, where it's free booze and free hors d'oeuvres all day long, and the boats come right up to the boat to get their cards. So now the people from out of town that have never seen a M44 DCB or an M41 DCB or a 388 Skater or some of these badass boats, or including a 270 Howlett, right? Or a 21 Chiata. Or a 21 Taiga, because it's my boats. My regatta's an all boats regatta, right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping to have a lot of smaller boats there, But if you've never seen a boat like that, you could sit on the top of this thing that you're open bar all day, basically, and the thing comes right up. They hand them a card. You're within 10 feet of it. You get to watch it get on plane and go away from you.
Yeah.
From feet. A lot of guys don't get to see that. When I got hurt, I don't realize, I've been in this industry for so long, I don't realize what it is anymore. For me to go out in an M41 is not that huge of a deal. It's like, let's go out and film this boat. Sean is a good friend of mine. He's friends with all the Merc race guys, all of them, right? And I would have assumed he'd been on everything. And so I sent him to Nashville for me in my place. And he's like, this is a hell of an opportunity. And I was kind of thinking, like, what are you talking about, And he went on all these boats, and it was like, it's a big thing, you know what I mean? Although I will admit I'd never been on the Tirana, and I would have loved to go on that. But, the rest of it, it's just boats to me, And so a lot of people, I don't realize that they are not up close and personal to these big-ass boats, And I've given that a lot of thought. A lot of these guys never even heard one fire up in front of them. I thought about doing something in my Desert Storm booth next year where maybe we take the Bananas boat, or maybe we take, a skater or some big badass thing and hook it up to water and fire it up in the booth, from this time to this time, like maybe a 3-minute, 2-minute window, but just so people can hear that and feel it up close, that much horsepower.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So.
Well, it's definitely.
Get numb to it, I guess is what I'm saying,
For someone like me, like, we don't, right now we don't have a boat. Every time we've gone to the river or the lake, we've gone out with our family that lives out there. We've gone out with Dave. But, me and my wife getting to do the houseboat program this year at Desert Storm, like, was easily one of the coolest things I've ever done on Havasu. Because kind of the same thing, like you're sitting there and Dave would say, hey, look over there. And there's a DCB cruising by at 80, 100 miles per hour. Like, and then to hear him say, yeah, that was only 80 miles per hour. Like, that was one of the coolest things, because even though the poker run hadn't started yet, you get to see all these boats going up or down river that, if you're just on a normal boat and you're just going to a destination, you don't really get to see that type of stuff. So it was pretty eye-opening for us. So.
Desert Storm, which is, I'm going to talk to Art about that too, for that big yacht thing he's got. He's got a liquor license that goes dam to dam. Like, the thing holds 40 people, plus bartenders. It's got air conditioning. Like, everything about it's awesome, right? Yeah. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be taking that thing out and watching Desert Storm instead of a houseboat. The houseboat thing is badass, but it's a pain in the ass because we got to load it, unload it, all this shit. They got captains, and they got food, and they got air conditioning, and they got servers, and that thing's the deal. I was talking to Art about that earlier today. I was like, I can't believe we're not doing more of this, So I want to do that more with Art up there with that yacht thing. I think that's a really cool idea. There is some really cool parties coming up in August. In case you guys haven't heard, Havasu Springs is doing their summer bash thing. Last year I went to it, was cool. This year I sponsored it. I got them set up. They're bringing the boom bandits down. They're bringing the band is called Electric Avenue or Electric Boogaloo. I can't remember, but they're the same band I hired at Desert Storm last year. Not this last Desert Storm, the year before. That was 80s. They were playing all the Back to the Future music and all that. It was awesome. Everybody went nuts. And so that's pretty cool. I'm going to put all the pictures there on the flyers up of that this week, or next week, excuse me. But there's a whole bunch of cool shit going on this summer, man. And that actually I get to be a part of because that's ADA accessible, right? So that's pretty cool.
Well, man, I think just like every show we do with you, we're probably going to have to revisit this in a few weeks, see how you're doing in a few weeks. That's one thing, and I hope the listeners and the viewers, don't mind it. But Dave,
I haven't taken meds. I'm sweating through my shirt right now. Hands are all shaking and stuff. But I appreciate you letting me be on here, man. Everybody, I'm not dead. I've heard rumors that I'm selling my business. I'm broken, this, that, and the other. I'm not dead, guys. We're doing really good. I appreciate all the support. Brad Schoenwald coming out. Fuck, guys from the East Coast to the West Coast have been asking me how I'm doing, and it's been really overwhelming to know that there's that much support out here. So definitely, I appreciate it, guys. Jake, we are on for 2020 as always. I love boats and shows, and thank you.
All right, thanks, man.
Good night, Havasu. Rolling out.